Title: The Circus of Lost Souls. Chapter 1: The Cursed Big Top. No one really knew why the old Vandral Circus tent was never taken down. Abandoned at the edge of a dense forest, it stood there like a beast lying in wait. Frozen in time. The village elders told tales of a fire that had consumed the tent 50 years ago. Flames had devoured the structure, trapping both performers and audience inside. Since that night, it was said that when the wind blew from the east, one could still hear echoes of applause and distorted music. It was the night before Halloween. Jade, Lucas, Sarah, Thomas, and Lucas' little brother Emil had decided to challenge the legend. The dare was simple: stay inside the circus for 1 hour. When they reached the clearing, a cold wind lifted the dust. The tent loomed ahead, torn and draped in cobwebs. The ropes hung down like hanged bodies. "Are we going in, or are you scared of imaginary clowns?" Lucas sneered. "Let's just go. The sooner we enter, the sooner we get out," Jade replied. They stepped through the heavy flap at the entrance. A smell of soot and melted wax struck them immediately. The floor was littered with deflated balloons and rotting confetti. The bleachers were partially collapsed, but what chilled their blood were the figures sitting in the stands, a dozen clowns, motionless, with white painted faces and lips stretched into fixed grins. "Mannequins, they're just mannequins, right?" Thomas whispered, uneasy. A sharp laugh suddenly cut through the air. Click. Jade's flashlight died. Chapter 2: The Laughter. The laughter echoed all around the big top. When Jade's light flickered back on, one of the clowns had moved. Its head was now turned, and its pitch-black eyes were staring at them. An old gramophone crackled to life, playing a screeching melody. Faded spotlights lit up the ring. At its center, a giant clown appeared, slowly forming as if woven from shadows. Its costume was torn, and its painted face grotesque. The eyes were two bottomless pits. "Welcome to the final show," a deep, hollow voice said. The teenagers backed away. The fabric of the tent had sealed itself shut behind them, like a mouth snapping closed. "We need to get out of here," Jade cried. The giant clown raised a skeletal hand and snapped its fingers. The seated clowns stood in unison, like puppets. Their stiff shoes scraped across the wooden floor. Chapter 3: Corridors of Madness. The giant clown released a bundle of red balloons. They burst with a sharp pop, releasing a black mist that crawled along the floor, wrapping around their ankles. "Split up!" Lucas shouted. Jade and Lucas ran toward an exit, but each time they lifted a flap of canvas, another tent stood behind it, again and again. They were inside a maze. Thomas and Sarah stumbled into a makeup room. The mirrors were scratched and fogged. In the center sat a music box spinning by itself, playing a horribly slow lullaby. A voice emerged from it. "You never leave the Vandral Circus. You become the show." Chapter 4: Emil and the Little Clown. Emil, alone, was sobbing while clutching an old stuffed toy he found in a corner. But suddenly, the toy opened its eyes. "Come play with us," a child's voice whispered. A dwarf clown appeared behind him and placed an icy hand on his shoulder. Emil screamed, but his voice was drowned out by the growing calliope music. Chapter 5: The Grand Finale. Eventually, they were all reunited at the center ring. The clowns now numbered in the hundreds, forming a circle around them, clapping rhythmically. The giant clown spread its arms wide. "Now, laugh forever." Its mouth stretched open, wider and wider, revealing dozens of faces inside, trapped spectators, doomed to laugh for eternity. One by one, the teens were pulled in. Jade tried to hold on to Lucas, but her fingers slipped. Their screams twisted into manic laughter. Epilogue: The audience remains. The next day, hikers passed near the clearing. They swore they saw lights under the old tent, and silhouettes sitting in the bleachers. Among them was a red-haired girl holding a broken flashlight. At the center of the ring, a giant clown handed out balloons, dripping a thick black liquid.